You know, I get asked the Usain Bolt question all the time. You know, I'm not Usain Bolt. I'm never going to be Usain Bolt. We do completely different things. We're completely different people. Yeah, it was first competition against him. We're going to be seeing him in competitions like the Olympics, and because he seems like a very promising athlete for sure. I definitely hope to be back here in Istanbul because it's the Olympics. You know, it's the best in the world. I know it's not going to be a walk in the park, but I think I'm capable of it. I try not to think about it too much. It seems like a very beautiful place. I really appreciate it. I love it. You know, of course I want to win. No, 2020 was definitely very tough. Once the Olympics got postponed, that was really tough for me. The major competitions that I've been training for my entire life aren't there anymore. It's hard to find that motivation day in and day out to get up and train because, you know, you don't really particularly know what you're even getting up to train for. Because, you know, I guess at the time, especially when the pandemic first started to settle in, it was kind of like this seemed to be no end to it. And it almost seems that way, I guess, now a little bit, but I was able to have some competitions towards the end of the summer. I was able to jump that 6:15, of course. You know, they weren't normal competitions, weren't able to have spectators or anything, which, you know, makes the competitions a little more boring. But we were able to have competitions, and, you know, once you're in a situation where, you know, you kind of realize how grateful you were before COVID times and how everything was so really good. So, you know, it makes you appreciate what you have in the moment and appreciate what, you know, you didn't appreciate in the beginning.
Sergey Bubka'nın 5.94'le hayatında, kariyerinde kırdığı ilk dünya rekoruydu. Belki de şimdi son dünya rekorunu da geride bırakacak. İkinci hakkı Duplantis geldi. İkinci hakkı oldu. Oldu. 6.15 atlıyor Armand Duplantis. Açık havada dünyada tüm zamanların en iyi atlayışı. 6.15 atlıyor Armand Duplantis. Bu yıla bunu da sığdırdı.
I didn't understand what was being said, but it seemed like he was very excited. And so I really appreciate his reaction. It seemed like he was pretty happy for me, genuinely. It's a really cool thing. It's a really cool thing to see people care about what I'm doing. I really can't explain how thankful I am for the amount of support that I've been getting, especially the past year. To be able to see things like that, it's really cool. It keeps a smile on my face and keeps me motivated to try to do some more things like that. Yeah, well, growing up, I started pole vaulting at such a young age, and you know, Sergey Bubka, he kind of just seems like this mythological creature. He didn't seem like he really was a actual person, especially the things that he did and the way that he transcended the sport and got it to where it is today. You know, to me, he was so good and he was so much ahead of his time. You know, jumping 6:15 when he did it. You know, this was the 90s. Pretty crazy still for me to comprehend that there's record books and I'm on top of Sergey Bubka in these record books. That's still really cool to me because, you know, sometimes when I'm out there jumping, I still feel like I'm just a little child jumping in my backyard again. And it's hard for me to comprehend the situation that I'm currently in. But I'm really grateful for it, and I try not to take it for granted. And, you know, I try to go out there and just try to break even more of them.
Onun herkes gelecekte çok iyi işler yapacağını biliyordu. Ama bu kadar erken 20 yaşında dünya rekoru pek çok kişi için belki de sürpriz oldu.
The first time I jumped 580 was super special to me because my father was a pole vaulter. His PR was 580, and so I always wanted to be better than my father was because that was just a, you know, just friendly family competition, of course. Yeah, I did it in 2017 in the indoor season. I jumped 582, and it capped off a crazy indoor season for me at the time. It was crazy personal best. It was just a really cool thing because 580 in my mind, knowing that was my father's personal best, it was just this golden barrier that I really wanted to eclipse. When I was finally able to do it, I guess finally I say I was 17 years old, I wasn't that old. But it was really special. It was really special for me, really special for my family and my father. It was fun to have good bragging rights in home too for the next, you know, dinners we had since I was still in high school.
I think everyone had pretty high expectations since he's been good since he was a kid. So I think the expectation is pretty high, but I support him always and will always support him, and I believe in him too, so I think it will be really great.
The reason why I pole vault is because of my dad. I mean, I had a great influence from my older brother Andreas, of course, because, you know, he kind of instilled all the values that I have in me today, whether it's, you know, as an athlete or just as a man in general. But, you know, those two people were instrumental in building up to my success I have today, and I wouldn't be in this situation, especially without them. Sometimes me and my father, we weren't on the same page about everything, but I think that's mainly because we both had so much passion for the sport, and he wanted me to be the best and I wanted to be the best. And so You know, sometimes when you clash fire with fire, then you can get some crazy results. But you know, it worked out really good. We have a really great relationship as a father, really great relationship as my coach too. You know, that's just another thing that I'm really just grateful for. Yeah, I don't even really know how baseball and pole vaulting can even be the same. I mean, it's just so different in every way. I played football and I played baseball growing up alongside pole vaulting, of course. They're just two team sports. That aspect of it just makes it way different in itself, to where when you compare it to pole vaulting, which is a very individual sport, and you know, when you're out there, all the success is on you and all the failures even more of a burden on you. So, you know, I've always liked that individual aspect of pole vaulting, because I've always kind of had a problem with team sports. You know, I don't want to blame anybody except myself. I don't want anybody else to be the reason why I lose. I want it to be me as the reason why I lose, or I'm the reason why I win. You know, I just always got along better with individual sports. So I think that's another reason why I found myself gravitating towards pole vaulting even at a young age.
He will get better every day, I think. And he's really motivated, so he will never give up. And that's what I told him, like the world record, that's just the beginning, you know? I think he could do a lot, because he is really talented.
You know, of course I want to win. I want to win, and I think I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to go there and come away with the gold. I think that I'm jumping really well right now. I feel like I'm figuring out some things in my technique, and I just have to go in there and get it done, because I know that when I'm at my best and when I'm in good shape and when I'm healthy, that I can go into the meet and I can be able to come away with the victory. I know it's sports and I know anything can happen, and you know, you still have to go out there and you still got to perform well, because the people alongside you are going to be world class, because it's the Olympics, you know, it's the best in the world. So I know it's not going to be a walk in the park, but I think I'm capable of it. You know, I get asked the Usain Bolt question all the time. I try not to think about it too much, but you know, I'm not Usain Bolt. I'm never going to be Usain Bolt. We do completely different things. We're completely different people, but I try to go out there, jump as high as I can, try to put on a show, try to be entertaining out there, because I guess at the end of the day, we're just entertainers, and that's kind of the best way of getting my name out there and getting people to support me. So that's kind of the only thing that I focus on. I just let the rest just settle itself out.
Ersu Şaşma 5 metre 30 santimetre ve 5 metre 30 santimetreyi rahatlıkla aşıyor.
Yeah, it was my first competition against him, but no, it was not. We actually competed against each other in Belgrade. Serbia, which was like a week before the European Championships. He seemed very good. We talked briefly. We didn't get to talk that much. You know, he's still working on his English a little bit, but it was pretty good though. But he looks, I mean, as a pole vaulter itself, you know, just looking at him technical wise, it looks very smooth, very sound. It seemed like, you know, so I think that you know, we're going to be seeing him in competitions like the Olympics, and I think we'll be seeing him in some high level competitions, because he seems like a very promising athlete for sure. Yeah, well, I haven't been here for that long. I've only been in Istanbul for a couple of days now, just visiting my girlfriend. It seems like a very beautiful place, very, very kind people. You know, I've enjoyed the food thus far, and of course.
I have a really good impression, actually. The people are really generous, and it's a big city compared to Stockholm in Sweden, where we live, so I like it.
I really enjoy the place. I like the vibe a lot, and you know, I think you'll catch me back here.
I've tried the kebab, like lamb kebab. I like it. And your delights, your like sweets, they're good. And the Turkish soup I've tried, it's good actually.
Hopefully we can have a competition here or something. Far ahead is 2023, is it? Of course, I mean, European Championship is a huge meet. And you know, I always want to see myself at those kind of meets, competing at the highest level against the best people in all of Europe. So I definitely hope to be back here in Istanbul. Especially with me traveling as much as I do already for competitions. You know, when you have a girlfriend that, you know, wants to equal your traveling, that can make it a little tough. But if there's a will, there's a way. So we'll figure out a way to make it work. But she's here in Istanbul, and you know, it seems like a pretty nice place to be. So.
Ooh, that's a big jump. Hej Johan, hur är det med träna? Kom igen nu! Jag kommer!
I enjoy it. Yeah, I enjoy it. You know, at the end of the day, I'm not just a pole vaulter. I do other things. I have a life. I have a personal life. I live, you know, maybe not like your everyday 21-year-old, but in some moments I'm just a 21-year-old at the end of the day. Try to have a good balance between being an athlete and just being a human. Well, first off, I want to tell the Turkish athletes and, you know, everybody here in Turkey that supported me, thank you. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the support and the love. Hopefully you'll find me back here one day competing because I would really like to show the Turkish people what I'm capable of, and I would really like to, you know, jump something really high here in Turkey one day.